Hey everybody, Christopher here, and welcome to part 3 of my creative AI animation tutorial. Now I say creative because I don't get into the nuts and bolts of a lot of AIs like the experts do. I'm not going to go over installs, anything like that, but I do want to talk about the creative ways we can use AI to realize our characters, get them consistent, animate them, and tell our stories. In my case, telling the story of Escape from Planet Omega 12. But before we get started, speaking of which, be sure to subscribe to the Sci-Exploitation YouTube channel, where these tutorials will appear publicly first. Then, after that, they will appear on the Christopher Moonlight Production YouTube channel. By the way, thank you for making this such a popular tutorial. It's already got 1,400 views on the main channel, but we do want to get this going. And if you become a subscriber to the Christopher Moonlight Production Substack, you can do that for free, or you can become a supporter and get these tutorials before anybody else does on either of the channels. Doing this, even if you're just a free subscriber, you'll get other content besides from the YouTube channel. You get a look at other things that I have produced working on this project. But yeah, give it a look, because even though a lot of you want to get straight to the tutorials, the main goal is to create Escape from Planet Omega 12. And my tutorials are based around the work in doing that. So I appreciate you subscribing, becoming a supporter if you can, and I will continue to make these tutorials. Now, let's see. We left off last time, by the way, and I apologize. We're going to focus on this character today. I did promise that there would be a creature animation tutorial, and there will be. We've got stuff coming up. This is a much more complex tutorial, because we're not so much doing AI animation. We're using AI to create assets that we can animate in After Effects. This is just a sample. Believe me, it looks much better than this when it's not playing on this player. But anyway, I wanted to do this because this kind of fits in with animating characters, which are the first tutorials were about. We covered Viggle, we covered Nim, and we covered flow frames, upscale, as well as handbrake. These are all tools that I will continue to use throughout the tutorials. So today we have this character that I created through a lot of prompting, and I finally got the result that I'm looking for. This character is she's not someone you want to mess with, and she is definitely not on the side of good in our story. So let's start with the fact that I created her using a combination of Nim and Midjourney. I use Nim's tool that is, you drop in an image and it'll describe it for you. And I use Claude to get some prompts. And we went back and forth. The Midjourney was kind of giving me either this like Spy Kids or Spider-Verse, or what is this, Terminator Dark Fate type thing, which is sort of, I guess, along the lines of the attitude of this character who is evil. And there's a bit of commentary about her in the story, but I really wasn't happy with what Midjourney was getting me. Nim finally got me the results. I went through different iterations, really liked this one as well. These are for the first part of this character's evolution. More happens that changes her appearance quite a bit. But anyway, the fact of the matter is that I really liked this character, so I downloaded this one, imported her into Photoshop, gave her a green background also to fix on her eyes, but I want to do some more painting. I'm never happy to just get an output and be done. I want to be able to, I'm an artist. I want to be able to do some paint overs. And I also want to be able to have more than just this single image of her, because if I'm going to have her in a story that is fully animated and she's going to be performing as a character, I need to be able to see her from different angles, and I can't rely on a single image. Now, so my solution to this is, of course, more AI. What I did was I took that image and I imported it into, Hyper, I can never say this, Hailuo, I think is how you say it, and Kling. And I instructed them to take the character and have her do turns. So you can see here, she turns, and now we've got different angles of her. Now, is this good for everything? No. First of all, her legs are cropped off. Other instances of her, she did like partial turns. Quick turn like that. Not too bad. We can use this. Other times it did not. It just had her kind of standing and talking, which isn't very useful for me. I hate that Minimax has characters talk when that's not useful, because we need to worry about lip sync. We're going to get to that in another tutorial. But yeah, the main goal is just to get some turns, which again, Hyper did for me as well. Fantastic. Her head gets to be a little bit of a weird shape, but still, this is useful. And so what we do with this is we go and we take our, our animations. So here we have, we'll just use this one as an example. So it's great. She moves. We get a side turn. She turns around. Fantastic. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that into After Effects. And by the way, this little character here, we're going to get to her as well. I actually turned her into a 3D object. But first things first, let's import her. And then we're going to just drag her into a comp. So you can see we get the full-size image. Now, we don't need everything. We about right there. Trim comp to work area. All right, so she does a full turn here. And we're just going to export this. We've done this before. We're going to open this up and export her as a PNG sequence. And hit OK. Make sure she's in the right folder. Again, we'll just copy this. Oops. Just forgot to hit the arrow, which takes you to the comp. So, okay, so this is her name. I'm just going to call this Des A. And we'll have Des B and Des C. She's not Des A. And save to a folder. All right, let's get Des A. So save. And then render. Should only take a few moments. So while that's doing that, let's just have a look inside the folder. What's going on is it's rendered out the different frames. So now we have frames at any angle, which I can then take and open up in Photoshop. And now I have any angle that I want. So if I want to work on her from this angle, or I want to work on her from this angle, now I have all the angles I want. And if I want to upscale this, I can use upscale as in the previous tutorial. So now we've got all these different angles, and but she's still missing her legs. There's probably a few different solutions to this, one of which is I actually was also using Comfy UI to create character sheets. Now, the character sheets aren't giving me always what I want, but you can see I've got different options here that I can just go into Photoshop and pick and choose parts that work, cut them out, and paste them onto the character and extend the character in different ways. This, I used another tutorial that I will post in the description. If you're a Comfy UI user, you'll find that very useful. So yeah, I can extend the legs. Now, some other stuff that I can do is I can, of course, go into Viggle. You can see I've got this character kicking. This is kind of an action character. So let's just, let's see. Okay, that's where I'm keeping that video. Let's head back a couple of paces. So I created this comp. I did a little fix on her eyes, and I do want to continue to do more. But for demonstration purposes, let's just go over to, let's clicking around here, and we'll drag and drop this in here, and let's see what it does with it. I'm a little concerned about the color because I've tried in the past, I'll show you this, to graft movement onto characters that were different shapes, and the results were horrendous. Like this was supposed to be the blob character, and it just looks like a character in pajamas covered in gore. Not what I was after, but let's see what Viggle can do with that reference and this, and see if it stays consistent with the shapes. Let's make sure that we've got everything we want. We want as the image as the character, and let's just hit create and see what happens. Should only take a few moments. All right, I think I forgot to replace the background, but let's have a look. Yeah, not bad. Got a little bit of that Viggle wiggle, but we've fixed that before. So fantastic. Does maintain her collar, and it's kind of, it's given her some redness in the boots. You know, we didn't give it a reference to the feet, but great. Now, what's another way if we don't want to rely on AI to give us like a turn that we can make PNG sequences of? Well, there is this here, image to 3D with Trellis, which is an open source. You can download this locally on your computer, or you can go to this demo page, which I'm using because I have actually run out of space on my computer to download any more programs, any more AI. But simply put, what I did was I just created in Photoshop an image with an alpha channel. So no background. Now it will remove the background for you. Originally I dragged this one in, but it didn't remove all the background. So one with an alpha channel is just fine. Just takes a few moments to load, and you hit generate, and you just wait for a few moments, and there you go. Now you see a 3D object, and you can even download this video if you want. Let's see. Place that. So you look at it, you go, okay, that's a 3D object. So just extract GLB and it'll create that for you. Now it'll give you a little preview in here that you can rotate around, and then you can download it. I've already downloaded it into this comp. And so now I have a 3D object. I can just turn any which way for my design. And then if I wanted to, say, render this out, I could just give it a new solid, grain, set it behind there, and then, just get that position. Now this, as you may have noticed, and I think I already said, is not as high resolution, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do about that. If we can just get a position. Let's see. Let's do that one. And then we'll export to render queue. Again, PNG. Where is it? There it is. See. Oh, I should say, we'll just do one frame. We don't want this to run a bunch of copies. But let's see. So that's PNG sequence. And let's just back out of this. I just want one. So save. I don't want to just be in another folder. Save, render. All right. So we've got our one PNG of that character. And we're going to go over to another one of my favorite sites. Now, this is free. This trellis to use. And I'm going to go over to Krea, which also gives you a free trial and a certain amount of generations per month. Just like Hyper will give you a certain amount of generations per month. Hilua will give you a free trial and give you 3 generations a day. Kling will also, I've got a Kling subscription. I love Kling. But let's see. Krea, which is probably the most expensive service to subscribe to, but still worth it, especially for video cleanup. But let's just see if I import this here. You can go into Enhance. You can check the preview. The image shows a person wearing a red and black futuristic outfit with high collar and arm guard set against green screen background. Okay. And you've got, strength of resemblance, strength of how much enhancement there is, clarity. I'm going to leave these mostly for the same. And let's hit Enhance and see what it does. Now, your results are going to vary with all the different AI services. So it's important to know that whatever you get, don't consider it the finished product. If it gives you something that you're not entirely happy with, download it anyway. Look at the difference. All right. Now, is this everything that I need? No, absolutely not. But I can download this, import it into Photoshop, and start working on it as well. But if I need different angles of her and I've got this, I can pretty much do anything. Now, the thing I really like about this is that accidentally stretching her out. What I can't do with those other PNG sequences is I can't get extreme angles. Like if I want a really great upshot of her, or I want to be looking down at her like that, that's going to be harder for me to do with the video sequences, the PNG sequences. Now, that's not to say that I can't do it with enough iterations of different videos that I output, but the videos, the motion is unpredictable. You never know what you're going to get. So if you're really looking for like a quick shot like this, you want to enhance it in Kriya and then import it into one of the video AI and have it animate it for you. This is the way to do it a lot quicker. And then you can move on with your next shot. So anyway, having said all that, this is really an instance of getting creative with the tools that you have so you have the maximum control. The maximum control isn't total control most of the time, but you can really do a lot with this. Again, this was the single image, and now we have all sorts of different angles, different rotations, and different ways to animate her. So I hope you found that useful. Again, please like, subscribe, leave me a comment. If you've got questions, if you got comments, I really want to be able to tell you more about Escape from Planet Omega 12. I'm very excited about it. It's going to be a feature-length movie done with AI, but also practical elements like miniatures and puppets, and as well as traditional animation. The vibe is a hodgepodge of whatever I can do to tell this story, which is really about reclaiming some of the goodwill in science fiction that the franchises like Star Wars and Star Trek have completely destroyed. I'm just one guy doing this in my office. I get help from, an artist here and there that's a friend of mine. But if I can make this happen, then so can you. Believe me. Anyway, I will be back with another tutorial. I will have an upcoming tutorial, like I said, about the creatures. That one's going to take a lot of work. You'll see that on the Substack first. And also, there will be another tutorial about making these characters emote and talk using Live Portrait. There are other tutorials about that, but of course, I'm going to give it my own special spin. So thank you for watching. Again, like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment, questions, leave your negativity and smart aleckiness at the door, because we don't have any use for that. We are making stuff. All right. Happy New Year. Take care.